In the next minutes, you will learn what the Gohonzon is, where it came from, what its characters mean, and how to align daily practice with it. What exactly is the Gohonzon? The Gohonzon is a mandala, a special scroll that shows Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, the main teaching from the Lotus Sutra, a famous Buddhist text about the dignity and potential of every person's life. It was written so that anyone, anywhere, can bring out their Buddha nature by having faith and chanting. In the next few minutes, you'll learn what it is, where it came from, and how it can help you in daily life. Let's get started. The Gohonzon is the main focus we use in this practice. It's what we sit in front of when we chant. In the middle of the Gohonzon are the words Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. This means I devote myself to the mystic law of cause and effect through sound. You can think of it like saying, I choose to live in harmony with the natural rhythm of life. Here's a picture for you. Imagine you're rowing a boat. If you row against the current, it's hard and tiring. If you row with the current, you move faster and feel the flow of the water. Chanting Namu Myoho Renge Kyo is like rowing with the current of life. The Gohonzon was created by Nichiren Daishonin, a Buddhist teacher in Japan. He first made it in October 1279. He wrote it by hand on a scroll using ink and brush. Nichiren made it so that anyone could have a direct way to connect to their own Buddha nature, the wise and strong part inside. The design of the Gohonzon comes from a scene in the Lotus Sutra that shows a great gathering. Buddhas, people who have awakened to their full wisdom and compassion. Bodhisattvas, people who work to help others become happy and free from suffering. Protective forces, symbols of energy and courage that help protect your life and practice. When you chant in front of it, it's like you're standing in that gathering yourself, surrounded by all that wisdom, kindness, and protection. The Gohonzon is there to remind you, everything you need is already inside you. Let's go back to 13th century Japan. Nichiren Daishonin was a Buddhist teacher who studied many sutras, the writings that record the Buddha's teachings. After years of study, he saw that the Lotus Sutra taught something unique. Every single person can awaken their Buddha nature in this lifetime. The Lotus Sutra has a scene called the ceremony in the air. Imagine this. A huge treasure tower rises out of the earth and floats in the sky. Inside are two Buddhas, Shakyamuni, the historical Buddha, and many treasures Buddha, who comes to confirm the teaching is true. Surrounding them are bodhisattvas, protective forces, and beings from all parts of life. Nichiren saw this scene as a picture of how life really works, with everything turning around the mystic law. The mystic law means the deep rhythm that connects all people, nature, and the universe. Think of it like the invisible beat in a song. Even if you can't see it, it holds everything together and keeps it moving in harmony. Nichiren wanted people in his time and in the future to join that scene directly, not just hear it as a story. That's why in October 1279, he created the Gohonzon to bring the ceremony in the air into people's homes and daily lives. By chanting in front of it, anyone could connect to that same wisdom, compassion, and protective energy described in the Lotus Sutra. Now, let's take a closer look at what's actually on the Gohonzon. You can imagine it like a map of the ceremony in the air from the Lotus Sutra, written in beautiful calligraphy instead of drawn in pictures. Right in the middle, running from top to bottom, are the words Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. That's how Nichiren Daishonin wrote it, with Namu at the start. In Japanese, the U sound in Namu is soft. Because of that, it's hard to hear when people chant fast like rapper Eminem that the last letter completely vanishes. They also write it that way. But on the Gohonzon itself, the full word Namu is written, and that is the correct form. However, these are the heart of the Gohonzon, like the center of a wheel. Below those words is Nichiren Daishonin's name, showing that he made this Gohonzon. On the top and close to the center are two Buddhas. Shakyamuni Buddha, the Buddha who lived in India about 2,500 years ago and taught the Lotus Sutra. Many Treasures Buddha, the Buddha who appears in the treasure tower to prove that what Shakyamuni taught is true. Around them are bodhisattvas of the earth, people who devote their lives to helping others bring out their Buddha nature. You can think of them like lifelong friends who show up to help you succeed. On the sides are names of protective forces, symbols of courage, wisdom, and strength. Some are shown as the sun and moon, which light the way. Others are the 10 demon daughters, who in the Lotus Sutra promise to protect people who practice. There are also the dragon kings, which stand for powerful natural forces. If we group all these figures together, we can see three main kinds: Buddhas and bodhisattvas, awakened people who guide and help, protective forces, guardians who support your practice, and beings from the 10 worlds, all the different states of life, from sadness to joy to enlightenment. When you sit and chant in front of the Gohonzon, it's like you're in the middle of this whole gathering. Everything, wisdom, compassion, courage, and even the struggles of life, is there with you, moving with the rhythm of the mystic law. So, how do you actually practice with the Gohonzon? First, choose a clean and quiet space. Some people keep the Gohonzon in a small altar with things like a candle, a cup of water, or flowers. If you don't have an altar yet, that's fine. Just make sure the space feels respectful and uncluttered. When you practice, you start with Gongyo. This means reading a few short parts of the Lotus Sutra out loud. The two most common parts are called Hoben and Juryo chapters. Don't worry if those names sound new. You'll learn the rhythm and words over time. After Gongyo, you chant Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. This is called Daimoku. Chant with a clear, steady voice, like you're talking to a good friend who's listening closely. No need to shout or whisper. Some people chant in the morning to set a positive direction for the day. Others also chant in the evening to reflect and recharge. It's like brushing your teeth. Morning and evening, keep things fresh. If you're just starting, even 5 minutes a day is okay. What matters is doing it every day, not how long. Over time, you can chant longer as your connection and determination grow. Think of chanting like watering a plant. A little water every day helps it grow strong and healthy. The Gohonzon is the sunlight, and your voice is the water. Now let's answer some quick questions people often ask about the Gohonzon. What is written on the Gohonzon? The words Namu Myoho Renge Kyo in the middle, with names of Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and protective forces from the Lotus Sutra around it. What does the Gohonzon do in practice? It helps you focus while you chant so you can bring out your wisdom, courage, and kindness. How do I begin if I'm new? Find a clean space, learn how to say the words, and chant every day, even for a short time. How long should I chant? Start with a time that feels easy to do every day. You can increase later if you want. Do I need an altar? Not at first. A simple, quiet space is fine. You can add an altar when you're ready. We've provided links in our description for altars we highly recommend. When's the best time to chant? Morning helps set your day. Evening helps you reflect. You can choose what works for you. What text should I read daily? The short Gongyil parts from the Lotus Sutra, plus your chanting. Can I practice alone? Yes, practicing alone works, and practicing with others can also give support. How do I get a Gohonzon? The Gohonzon is not something you buy. It is the form of the mystic law and is received through faith and vow. When you are ready, reach out to a trusted, independent Nichiren Buddhist source that preserves Nichiren's intent. What results should I expect? More clarity in your mind, more courage in your heart, and better ways to handle problems. Where can I study more? Start with the Lotus Sutra and Nichiren's letters using trustworthy, independent Nichiren Buddhist sources. The Gohonzon is the mandala of Namu Myoho Renge Kyo that opens the direct path to becoming a Buddha in this lifetime. When you chant in front of it, you are joining the great assembly from the Lotus Sutra, surrounded by wisdom, compassion, and protection. Even if life feels heavy or confusing, chanting can help you see the way forward. If you're watching this, you can start today. Sit down, say the words Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, and keep going, even for just a minute. That minute is the start of a journey that can change how you see yourself and your life. Let's chant together for 1 minute. Ready? Here we go.
Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge.
If you've been wondering how this practice works, even if you don't feel spiritual yet, watch this next. A Skeptic's Guide to Nichiren Buddhism breaks it down in plain language so you can see for yourself.